Okay. My name is Sujata. I'm pronounced my name with a J, so it's Sujata. You can call me Sue, and I'm the Vice President of Consulting for Kitabu, and I look at end-to-end solutions. Jagdish, you next.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our masterclass today. My name is Jagadish. I go with my initials JC. I'm the Vice President of Sales at Kitabu. Darshit?
Thank you, JC. Hello, everyone. My name is Darshit, and I look after the marketing for Kitabu. Thank you for joining our masterclass. Tushar, over to you.
Hello everyone, myself Tushar Patil, and I'm heading the design team. I'm an associate design director. I'm actually interesting to view this and participate this masterclass. Thank you. Over to Sujata.
Okay, so let us get started without further ado, because we are very excited and we hope you are. Is my screen clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that we noticed is that these days, eBooks are awesome. The content is awesome. The fonts are lovely. There's plenty of white space and there's beautiful designs. And the uptake is good too. Except in some situations, we're hearing from the market that we've made all of these great eBooks. However, users are still dropping off. So what gives? So I think that's what we're going to be doing today, sleuthing a little bit, investigating a little bit as to why that might be happening, right? Am I clearly audible?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are.
So before we start, I just want us to take a quick look at a video and tell me, or rather think about and maybe put it in the chat as to what comes to mind first. Watch this. More to go. So my question to you is, what was this clip all about? Was it human capability? Was it just amazing drivers, amazing technicians? Was it the men? Was it the engineering? Was it the amazing engineering, the tools, the machines? Or was it the keen focus on the business goals, which is obviously to win the race, right? Was it the mission? Now, if you ask me, and you're wondering what has this got to do with eBooks, and I promise you we're getting there. What this clip was about was what happens when everything comes together. Now, think about it. Verstappen is sitting in that Red Bull car. He's pulling into the pit stop lane, and he wants to know that everything is going to work just so. The people, the engineering, and that mission focus so that everything goes just so, and he can drive out of that pit stop lane, put his foot to the pedal, outrace Hamilton, and go for the pole position. This is what we call a great experience, a reliable, completely well thought through experience. And the idea here is that whether it is a car, whether you're a driver in a car, or whether you're a reader of an ebook, it's the same idea. The concept of experience is not really just great engineering or just great visuals. Those are things too. They are important, but it's not just that. Then what is it? It is the end-to-end, the sense of how you feel. I mean, think about it, right? Verstappen is sitting in there and he wants to feel comfortable, ready, and charged to do what he needs to be doing. And for your users, for your readers, when they pick up a book, they want to feel that whichever platform they're on, whatever book they're holding, they want to feel like, I want to be here. They want to feel good being here. So the question is one of perception. And as you might have realized, it is subjective. It's a perception. It is everybody's individual subjective experience. So then this becomes a problem. How are we to have a process or a mechanism in which individuals with all their subjective variations will all get a good experience? How do we manage multiple people's subjective experiences to be wonderful? Now, the interesting theme here is this very subjective idea can be broken down into a bunch of objective questions around which now we are going to design. What are those questions? There are a bunch of questions. There are many more than this, but we're just going to sample a few. Okay. How smooth is the transition going to be from one thing to another? Think about it, right? Let's go back to our Verstappen in Red Bull. I rather like him, obviously. So when he drives into the pit stop lane, and all of this stuff happens around him, and his tires are changed, and then he transitions out of the lane, back onto the circuit, and then to the winning position. Are those transitions smooth? And then going from the analogy to ebooks themselves, what happens? I maybe purchase an ebook, and then I'm on the bookshelf. I click on a book, the book opens, I go from page to beautiful next page. I'm able to read the content. I'm able to experience the media, the activities, the interactivities. I'm able to close the book and then come back to it. And all of these transitions feel smooth. Okay. How easily can I find things? I'll give you an example. One of the challenges that we found is that when a user is on a bookshelf and there are these 50 books in there, we found that, especially in a student context, we realized that students often remember a particular phrase that they had read in a book, and they don't necessarily remember metadata. Human beings don't work in terms of metadata like name of the author, name of the book. They may not remember that, right? Version, edition. They don't remember all that. They remember that they read this quote from, say, Roosevelt, okay, or Churchill, or Mahatma Gandhi, whatever it is. Now, they are going to search on the bookshelf for that quote because they want to find that book with that quote. And when you type that in, lo and behold, the system drills into all the books and all the pages and then finds that book where this particular quote is, brings it up to the user, shows in the context, the paragraph in which that line was, and asks, is this perhaps the book that you were looking for? That's what we call easy to find, right? This is experience. How smoothly am I able to use things? So now I'm reading this book and I have this epiphany. I have this idea that I want to write down. Now, do I have to click on a tool, a pen tool, select a stylus, select a width, select a color, and now I get to write? Honestly, my moment is gone and the epiphany just left me. What's the point? Imagine instead, I pick up a pen and I start to write. That is experience. That is smooth user experience. Okay? Does the system make me repeat actions? I love this one. And this is, I'm going to gripe about this professional social media platform that we're all too familiar with. And I like to post there, okay? And I do my post while I'm commuting. I pick up my phone and I write these long posts. And then I press post. And then it tells me something went wrong. Very helpful. Obviously not, right? And I don't know what happened. And I try to go back to my long post and my draft is gone. Okay. Now I have to write the whole post all over again, only to lose it all over again because I didn't know what even went wrong. Over the years, I've realized that the problem was there is a character limit. And if you exceed the character limit, it will give you something went wrong. Now, neither do they show me the character limit, nor do they stop me from typing more. They stop me from posting, or even give me a spinning. What's the point I'm trying to make? The point I'm trying to make is I don't want to repeat difficult actions. I don't want to rewrite a whole post, and they should really have stopped me. Out here on Kitabu, what we do is we show the character count. We prevent people from posting beyond the character count. The submit button just disappears, and it gives you a helpful message saying, reduce the number of characters. You are 82 characters too many. Okay. This is what I mean by, does the system protect me from making possible expensive mistakes. Data loss is the worst kind of problem any user should ever have to face, and every system should be designed to never let that happen. Okay, undo buttons. Go back to your draft. Retrieve old work. This is very important. Okay, and this is all for your regular user. Now think about users who are differently abled, under different lighting conditions. Are we able to use the system just with as much facility under diminished lighting conditions, or maybe with different impairment levels? I have a little bit of, say, a color issue, or maybe I can't read very well. Can I listen to it instead? Those are the things. These are things you probably already know. I'm just kind of recapping. Okay. And when I say experience, now you must have noticed, I'm not just talking about content. I'm not just talking about a platform. I am talking about the experience of the content residing inside a platform. Because honestly, users aren't thinking of things as that is content, the toolbar is platform. No, that's not how they work. For me to do the job, whether I'm Verstappen or a student reading a book, for me, the integrated experience is what matters. And we're going to look at a number of cases where you can have great content, you can have great platform, but when the two come together, there are things that you need to sort out, right? So in what way? Let's take some examples, right? How are we going to design this integrated platform and content experience? First of all, I'm just going to tell you a story, okay? So the government of India had come up with some schemes to help farmers get information about specific crop problems. Okay, they had found that there was some particular virus going on, and they had a scheme to help farmers who were facing that crop issue. And this farmer outreach app essentially took that and plonked it at the bottom as content. Now, this didn't work. Why? Because although the users were English literate, to get into all of these details, they weren't connecting the dots. So it's a great platform. There is proper content, but there's no chemistry between the content and platform. Now, look at the other version. Later, what they did was they rethought the whole thing. They reimagined the whole thing. What did they do? They told the farmers, if you have a problem, take a picture of the leaf with the problem, okay, with the wilting or with that virus. And then we will diagnose the problem for you using AI or whatever. And then if we find this problem, they show the specific aspects of the scheme saying, oh, by the way, for this problem, there's this scheme, and here is the link for you to apply. Okay, here's the link you can go and apply for subsidies if you have this problem. Now, you have the content being repurposed in the platform and placed strategically at the point of need. Okay, so it's not enough if you have a great platform independently or great content. The two have to work with chemistry. Okay, all right. Let's look at another case. Oh, I love this. So we worked in Bookit on this one. So we had a customer who ran a journal for older people. And the journal editors were very representative of their audience. And interestingly, the average age of the editors was around, I think, in the low 70s. And I'm not kidding, okay? The oldest person was 90 years old, and she was very much still alert and working. And the youngest person was 62. They were fabulous with content. They were amazing with English. They were very platform savvy, no, not surprisingly. They were really platform savvy. But we had a little usability issue. And I was observing them, and I found that their hands tremored just that little bit. Natural for that age. All we had to do was change the tolerance levels of the buttons so that when they clicked, it didn't end up becoming a double click. You're with me? And a similar use case, but with babies. Oh my goodness. We had this little children's toddler content on the platform. And you know how we like to give audio feedback to children, this ding, ding, and that little burst of stars? Now, in my user group, I had this 2-year-old. Oh man, I'm never going to forget him. And he goes, ding, 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 ding. Keeps pressing that button because it's so exciting. And so what did we do? we said, okay, we are going to have to give you that audio feedback, but just once. So we kind of pressed we changed the system a little bit, and we gave the audio and the star feedback just once, and then disabled the button after that. The kid stopped pressing the button like ding, 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 that stopped, right? So this is how you sort of adapt the platform to cater to your audience. And another thing, and Tushar and I worked on this, right? Now, normally in our platform, we have the toolbar off to the left. That's typically how the platform works. And later when JC shows you, you will see that that's how it works also. But then when kids content came in, this little kids content, they were landscape. Now, what happens is when kids swipe, they end up touching the toolbar and invoking all sorts of things. So what Tushar did was he moved the controls above and below rather than to the left and right. Okay, so all the kind of content, I'm saying all the controls are above or below, and navigation arrows are below, if you see. They don't come in the way of content experience. Small things, right? Small things. But this is where the content and the platform have to talk to each other for a great experience. Okay. Another one. Oh, I love this. Before, this is the later version. The earlier version was when the toolbar would open, it would block the left arrow. Do you see the left navigation arrow there? Left navigation and right navigation. So when the toolbar would open, the drawer would open, it would occlude, it would cover a part of the arrow. So what Tushar did was, he said, okay, when this opens, I'm going to shift the content area just a little bit so that the arrow and the toolbar never come in the way of each other. Platform and adapting itself to the content use case. Okay. Again, if you see a lot of the controls have been moved above or below, same idea. Okay. So this is generally the idea of know your audience, but I'm also going to talk a little bit about not just children and older people, but more of the regular age group, right? And in this, we're going to differentiate between regular user use cases and empowered user use cases. This is one of my favorites. Okay. Why? Think about it. So one of the things we found was that our content creators don't all have a very strong point of view or a very particular point of view about how their content needs to be laid down. They want to focus on writing great content and not necessarily designing it. Not everybody had the skills either. So what did we do? We told them, fine, no problem. You come in. Take care of writing the content well. We will take care of laying it out nicely for you. So we created a bunch of templates that are out of the box, accessibility safe. The colors are accessible. The fonts are lovely. They work across devices. We take care of all of those technicalities. And a bunch of lovely templates. Our users come and put the content, pick and try out various templates. They choose a template and done. They don't want an opinion more than that. They don't care to design beyond that. And they love it because they can focus on the content and the publishing happens like that. Okay, it's very efficient. This is 80% of our users. But there are people who do want to customize and add and enrich content, right? And we do want interactive content, but even there, do we need to provide every possibility that we've seen in our 15 years of this product? We know that there are about 200 different customizations that are possible. But you know what we did? We said, most people use 20. Let's give them that. Most people just use 20. It's the 80-20 principle, right? And the remaining 80 or whatever, 180 or whatever it is hidden at a lower level where only an experienced user will use it. And they will get that. We went even beyond. We said, if you are a power user, you know what? Go forth and write code. Because there's no end to the number of components that we were asked to create. And then we found that the people who were asking for it knew exactly what they wanted. So we gave them HTML, CSS, please write the code that you want to write. And this is surprisingly well received by the market. In fact, to the extent that while they're previewing between the desktop mode and the mobile mode, They realize that, oh, this thing isn't working as well, so let me change it up. This is providing power and controls at the point of need for a power user. Okay, with me so far? Here's another one. Not only do they get to change the content and the style, they can create entire components by themselves. That's the kind of empowering of power users that we provide on the one hand, but on the other hand, just click, pick a style, and be done. So what is the level of feature richness that you want to provide? And when and where? That's the point that we're trying to make, okay? And at the end of the day, right, these are the standard principles, right, of experience design. What is most commonly used? What is most important for the user? Okay? It may be important even if it is not the most commonly used. What are the messages, the simple messages that warn you, or the things that totally prevent you from doing a disastrous thing? We talked about this earlier. We even enforce compliance. I'll give you an example. Our authoring platform lets you check for WCAG compliance. If you want to be really compliant, you can use that feature in the authoring tool to make sure that you are being compliant. And we'll enable you, right? So this is an example, right, of where, in fact, let me do one thing. Could we have a poll, Liz? Okay, so how do we consume content? If I could request the participants to please vote. Okay, I think the trend is remarkably clear here. We have over 80% of our participants so far saying that they'll view a short preview before deciding whether to read the full content. Now I'm going back to my bookshelf. Okay. I will talk about AI. Here's how to use AI well, right? Maybe we could end the poll. I think we got a sense of it, right? Thank you. So what did we do? We love our bookshelf, by the way. So what we do is we said, okay, we have so many books on the bookshelf. How is a user supposed to find out whether they want to read a book at all? The idea of summaries has been around forever. Previews have been around forever, but it's expensive for authors to write previews. And what did we do? We said, here's where we're going to use AI. AI creates excellent book summaries, and we are going to use that to plonk it in there. You look at the preview. All 85% of you wanted to do that. Okay? So you get to look at the preview, and not just look at the preview. You can listen to the preview. Okay? You can just listen to the audio of the preview. You like it, add it to favorites, create a bunch of favorites, and go read the book or listen to the book when you're out on a walk. This is empowering. This is creating an experience. This is going beyond looking at a book as just a book or just as content, or a bookshelf as just a bunch of books, right? So the idea here is, look, you can put feature after feature after feature after feature. I think amongst us, we can think of 200 features. But you want to put all of it out there. In Kitabu, we love the KISS principle. Keep it simple, keep it short, right? Your mileage may vary, and why I said that your mileage may vary is because sometimes you do need those depth of features, but we would err on the side of simplicity rather than complexity, okay? Because you see, what happens is when you throw in a bunch of features, even in the context of just content, you have lots and lots of interactivities, lots and lots of media. Your book looks great, but what about performance? Does it load as fast? Do pages transition as fast? Does media load as fast? Because you may say performance is not a UX issue, but my question to you is, if this is what you're going to be seeing, is it much of an experience? I'm not sure. I don't think so, right? And finally, a technical point. Just keep this in mind, because when you are internationalizing, when you're changing languages, especially with AI and everything, as a designer, you want to provide space. Here is a factoid. Thai words are 15% on an average longer than any English word, than the corresponding English word. So you have to provide horizontal space so that when it is auto-translated, the buttons, the menu bars, and all of that have to have enough space. And if that's not bad enough, you also have vertical spacing needs, because there's diacritical marks at the top and the bottom. So you want to provide spacing for that. And with languages like Thai, wrapping is not easy because they don't have word boundaries. So there's a whole other set of issues associated with that. The point that I'm trying to make is you want to think about this not post facto, not as an afterthought, but at the point of design, at the point of initial design, ab initio. Good design, ab initio. And that means it needs to be part of your process. One of the big things that we've that if requirements are going to come from the client, to a consultant, to a business analyst, to an engineer, to a UX person, to an engineer, to a QC person, you start out with a blender, you end up with, I think, a chain of links or something. It's Chinese whispers. In our teams, what we prefer to do, and we've found great success doing this, is to huddle. Everybody is in the same room talking about the same thing. The UX person brings up a point of view. The tech person says, oh, we're not sure that is performant enough. The UX person changes their point of view. The BA brings in something, and so on and so forth. And then everybody has the same picture of the business goal. Remember the mission? Everybody has the same vision of what the mission looks like. And then everybody builds towards the same ideal. And then you're also taking care that the content and the platform, all of them work well together, and this chemistry, right? And build and check back with the users. Like I told you, I wouldn't have known that the 2-year-old little one that I'm never going to forget is going to go tick, 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 tick. I realized that because I was in the classroom, and I'm never going to forget that. So you have to go back to the users and do field checks. And so that's the broad idea. The idea is, above all, you're not going to show off your engineering. That's not why UX exists. You are going to provide value. You're going to make users feel safe. My content is never going to disappear. My activity, my answers are never going to disappear. And I feel comfortable. Because think about it. If Verstappen were asked to go into a robotic dome with robo arms, fixing his tires, versus a bunch of engineers whom he sees every day who are competent, which would make for a better experience? Which will answer the question, do I like being here? And that's what I want all of us to think about. And thank you so much for your attention. I will hand it over to Darshit now.
Thank you, Sue. What an amazing presentation. You've really had us with a great experience just with this webinar. So just think about it. Now, we talked a lot about the topic in detail. Now let's look at how do you actually execute that in your own production cycle. And with that, I'll bring in JC, who will take us through our platform, and he'll show you exactly how all of that can come into one frame for your production cycle. So JC, over to you.
Thanks, Darshit. And Sujata, thank you so much for setting the context. I love that example of a 2-year-old going tick, 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 because that happens at my home every day with my 5-year-old. So very much relatable. So yeah, you got to think about the users who are going to use the platform when you're designing, not just the platform, but the content as well. So I'm going to show you, again, in the backdrop of the context that Sujata has said, I'm going to show you our Kitabu platform and how we go about designing the books, and also enabling the publishers to create interactive ebooks so that there is better retention of the learning by the learners. So let me quickly share my screen. Darshit, can you please confirm if you see this?
Yep, I can see the
All
screen.
good? Okay, perfect.
All good.
So we've been talking about the UI, UX rather, and UX is not just the UI, but beyond that. Sujata mentioned transition. How easy is it for someone to access the content once they purchase to accessing the content? And also, how easy is it for them to open the book, how quickly it loads? Kitabu is the best ebook reader out there in the world. And you compare it with any other readers out there, it gives you the fastest ebook opening and also quick transition between pages. All those small things matter when the experience comes into play, right? Uh, the basics is the white labeling, that is table stakes. But beyond white labeling, we also take care of a lot of customization depending on the persona that you have, the users that you are targeting. I've opened a few different tabs out here just to give you a glimpse of the different types of platforms or what do we mean by white labeling and things like that, right? So this is one of our customers. And if you look at all of this, this is all based on Kitabu, the base platform. But then you see that they have different colors, logo, as well as the layout and all that. This is one of the other customers. They target children's, small kids. And then we have another platform out here. So different types of customers will have different requirements, and we support them in their endeavor. Not just white labeling, but we can also do a deeper customization and UX design based on their audience and the user persona. Now, we talked about transition. So someone purchases the book, how easily can they access and how quickly, right? As soon as someone purchases the book, if the Kitabu can be integrated with the e-commerce to give that instant access, and then we can make it easy for them to access as well. So single sign-on, we integrate so that the users can just seamlessly transition from the commerce to accessing the content. And if you want to share access codes for them to create an account themselves, you can do that as well. There's a bunch of different standard integrations that we have so that it's easier for your users to access, whether it is with an LMS or a CRM or Google Classroom and things like that. We talked about globalization, going global, internationalization of the content, right? You can make the platform have multiple languages on the interface. So it is easy for someone who is non-native English speaker to access the platform. So if I change the language on the platform, all of the labels, everything change so that it's easier for the reader to access and leverage all of the features available on the platform. If I switch from a right to left to right to right to left, the template and the layout also changes to make it compatible. Now, quickly going back to English, let me log in here. And we did talk about the content discoverability and all that, right? So a publisher can have a bunch of titles. What you're seeing right now is the Kitabu bookshelf. This is a Kitabu branded platform just for demo purposes. But then if you have your own content, your content will appear here, the different categories and the filters. All of this will be customized. So based on your metadata and the content, this will all get automatically populated. You can even have nested filters, filter facets, so that it's easier for someone to find the content that they're looking for. The search and discovery is key to anything, a key for a user experience to be smooth. So Sujata said, if you are looking for a phrase or a term, the Kitabu will do a crawl of all of the content on the platform, and it will show you the results. And depending on the keyword where it appears, it's loading because there's multiple results which are still loading up. So all the books where the keyword or the phrase appears will be listed out here. There's 58 results, and when I select any of the book, how many instances in each of those books do I see that search term? And then different collections can be made available. So within a collection, if you have different if you have different books grouping together for, it could be a subject or some other collection, you can group all of them together and make it available. And the poll showed that we all want to see a short snippet before we access the book, right? So when I click on a book, I get to see a short description and then the chapters or table of contents. This short description and TOC is something which comes from the publisher. So this is part of the metadata. But then, as Sujata said, we can use AI as well to create summaries and short descriptions that can be edited by your editorial team for further accuracy and then publish it on the platform. Apart from search, there's filter, there's sort options which are available. Then if I want to quickly access the books that I've read in the past, I can just go to recently viewed books and open anything that I want. And the book could be a fixed layout EPUB or a reflowable EPUB. We also support audio, video, and e-learning content as well on the platform. Again, the principle that making the user experience seamless and easy. If you have different types of content, we don't want your users to be going to different platforms to access different content types. So this is a unified content hosting platform where all of your content type can reside on the common platform. So what you're seeing here, this is an example of fixed layout EPUB. This is pretty much like your PDF, which gets converted into an EPUB and hosted here. On the left, you see all of the navigation and all of the menu items, table of contents for navigation. This is something which is automatically generated from your PDF if they have bookmarks, or you have the UI also to add, edit, and create the table of contents as well, right? Within table of contents, you also see bookmarks. So these are pages that I've bookmarked when I'm reading a book. So I can click on it and then go to that page for quick access. And then resources. So this is something which is interesting in Kitabu. You can make your flat PDF or flat reading content into interactive content, right? You can add multimedia, you can add an audio, video, and any other HTML content. It could be a assessment, simulation, and all that to make your content interactive. And this helps with giving those timeouts and making sure there is engagement when they're reading the content. So it retains, the readers can retain the knowledge. I can make it a single page view, full page, and then you see these you see this blue underlining for this term breathing. So this is a glossary. The glossary can also be interactive. So I can have a video explaining the term, I can have the image, audio,
breathing,
and if I want any external links, I can add that as well. So this is how you make the glossaries. Again, this is all created in the Kitabu platform. Images can be clicked and opened to view in full screen or zoom mode. There are other types of interactivities. This is an audio.
an
Read
overview
aloud.
of the human body as a complex machine.
There's text to speech as well. So if we have support with the most commonly used screen readers, so accessibility wise, the text to speech will help. And then if you have multiple images, you can create slideshows of that. I can see it in full screen as well. And then you can embed videos also into the book itself. These things can be hosted outside of the platform, or it can be embedded in the book itself. And while we go through all this, if you have any questions, feel free to
Structure of
add that
human
in the
bones.
Q&A,
Bone is
and
not uniformly.
Darshit on our team will help us with the Q&A. So this is another example.
The types of bones.
Which can pop out.
There are 4 major classifications or types of bones.
And you can have assessments which are added as well. These assessments are also created on the Kitabu platform. I'm going to show that as well in a bit. So these assessments, if you already have assessments, we can help you convert it into an HTML format and upload it to the Kitabu platform. If you don't, then you can use the Studio platform, which is the backend for the empowered user that Sujata was talking about, and you can create the content there. If you want to add downloadable content or external links, you can do that as well. But the most important thing for publishers is protecting their IP. So it comes with its own digital rights management. We use AES 256-bit encryption, unauthorized access, offline access is provided through the apps that we provide. Again, that is also white labeled. And then there are controls on the number of devices on which a user can access, and then how long they get to access the content. Once the content subscription expires, the book is automatically taken out of the bookshelf. So these are things, controls which are available on the platform. Stopping any copy or print. If you want to enable print, you can do that by choice, but by default, it is disabled. And yeah, so if you need any additional capabilities on top of this, we can add those things as well. This is an example of a quiz that can be created on the platform. Single choice, multiple choice questions. These are drag and drop and fill up the blanks. And there could be figure labeling exercises, matching with the pairs. There's a bunch of different types of interactivities that can be added. And these quizzes can be either graded or non-graded for just self-assessment purpose. Graded quizzes can also have certifications at the end of the quiz. So those are most of the features. So when you're reading the book, if you want to take notes, highlights and all, you can use the tools out here. I can highlight a part of the text. I can also take notes. So these are contextual notes. And then if you want to use the pen tool and write something, I can do that as well. So this is typically used in an iPad or a tablet where it's easy for someone to write using a stylus. So this is the search within the book. So within the book, I can search for any term, and wherever it appears, I get to see the context, and then I can click on it and go to that place. And the search keyword also gets highlighted, so I get to see where in the page that search term appears. So this was an example of a fixed layout EPUB. All of the notes highlights that we do is available in the My Data space. I can either print it out or I can do filtering and try to find what I'm looking for. I also wanted to quickly show an example of a reflowable EPUB. So this is a reflowable EPUB. The major difference here is it allows you to change the font size and font face. So when I'm looking at a small screen, it would automatically resize. And if I want to manually do it, I can do that as well. Then it also allows me to change the line spacing, alignment, margins, and all of that, along with the contrast and modes of reading, right? So those are some of the things within the Kitabu reader. And it also gives some bit of analytics. So we cater to different types of audience. So if you are an education publisher, and if you're selling to institutions, we support that as well. And within an institutional context, if you have distributed to a class with students and teachers mapped, then the instructors can look at the usage of the book and analytics within this Kitabu player. And now just I want to spend a couple of minutes on the Kitabu Studio as well. Studio is the backend platform. Again, this is also multilingual. We can add any language you want, and we can also have multi-factor authentication on this. So
Sorry to interrupt you, JC.
yeah, Tushar.
As you are in the reader, can you show that AI part, K.AI?
Sure. Let me quickly go back to one of the books. So K.AI is a widget which is a Gen AI based widget, and this is used by the reader when they're accessing the book, and they can create learning objectives or summaries. They can also have questions and assessments created on the fly, and I can also have multiple choice questions. So these are the options that are available for the reader, and this is all in the context, so it gets generated on the fly. I can select the complexity level, and if I want it to be done across the book or a specific chapter, and then in a matter of a few seconds, the K.AI is going to generate whatever that I've asked for. The learning objectives, so this is the learning objectives of this particular book, and then a quick summary, then the flashcards that I asked for. Of course, the assessment or the multiple choice questions. And this is all generated on the fly. So I can click on generate new, and it would randomize and create a new bunch of questions for me. So that's the Kitabu K.AI in the ebook reader. And a similar functionality is available in the Kitabu Studio as well, where the publisher, the author and editor can use the K.AI feature to create those assessments and summaries and then embed in the book, so it is available across all of the users of that book. So just moving on to the studio. Studio has some of these key components. You get to manage your content, you get to manage your customers, and then individual users as well, and look at a bunch of analytics. This is the dashboard which is available. This is a standard dashboard. And if you want to look at data, there is a reports section within the admin center. Let me quickly go back to the content. And if I look at the content types, so these are different content types which are supported on the platform. I can filter, I can select any particular type, and I get to see those books only. The status of the book, and when was it created, what is the type of book. I can look at a preview, and I can click on this enrich. This is a magic wand kind of a button. I can click on this, and I can enrich or improve the interactivity in the book. So this could be an example of a PDF or a Word document which you have uploaded, and it gets converted into an EPUB on the platform. And then if I want to add some interactivities to it, all these markups are available. So if I want to add a video, I can just click on it and drop it wherever I want. And let me quickly sign in again. It looks like I've been logged in for a long time. So while we do that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that. Yeah, so easy login. And when I open the markup, then I can go back to any page I want, add any of the interactivities. Adding a video is as simple as just clicking, dragging and dropping wherever I want, and then upload the video. I could either upload the video from my laptop, or if I have it hosted on any of the video streaming services, I can link it to that as well. So I want to play it inline or with 3D animation, what type of controls I want to provide. So all these are available for you to control. Likewise, if I want to add a text input box, I can just put that here. And yeah, font style, what is the title of it? And again, the settings accordingly. So this is a simple tool which is available for the publishers. You don't need any technical skills or coding skills to actually make your book interactive. Making your book interactive makes it stick with the users. It elevates the learning capabilities. But it also does not require you to be technically very knowledgeable, and you don't need any development skills to create an interactive ebook like this. And as I said, the K.AI is also available here. for the publishers to create your own content. Now, going back, I just wanted to show a couple of reports. Book statistics is something that I really like. You can predefine a period, or you can look at the report for a custom time period, and it shows me a particular book, how many unique users have accessed that book, how much time they've spent. If it is an institutional customer, I get to see from which institution they belong to. So there's a lot of data available. You can download this, you can export it into your business intelligence tool and things like that. And this particular report is used by a lot of publishers for their royalty calculations as well. And user statistics is another one where you get to see the user level data, which books they're accessing, how much time they're spending, which pages. So since this is a demo platform, I don't we do not want to show any of the customer data, so we're using the demo information out here. So you may not see a lot of data available, but you get a sense of what type of data can be made available. And to make it easy for the publishers, there's a lot of options available for you to upload your content and publish. You don't have to do it one at a time, but there is bulk upload options available. And there are APIs available as well. So if you have very large amount of data, the APIs can automatically populate and publish on the platform. We work with a variety of publishers. As Sujata was saying, we work with customers who target the older people, and then we also work with customers who have content for children, kids. So the UI, UX, and even the content capabilities is everything customized so that it works for your audience and it works for your audience persona. So if you need anything additional to this, we'd be happy to look at that. And any personalized demo, I'd love to speak with you one-on-one and walk you through all that and create personalized demos as well. I think with that, we have about 5 minutes left. I want to give a chance to Darshit and Tushar if they want to answer any questions, or
So
Sujata, if you
thank
want to add
you.
anything.
Thank you, JC, for such an incredible tool demo. It's always amazing to see practical ways to win, right? Now I can also see so many people still hanging around, and I'm happy for that. And to show my happiness, I have a small surprise for you. The surprise is, well, here it is. As a thank you for attending this masterclass and sticking around for this long, we are willing to transform one of your chapters from any of your titles into an interactive and a high UX enabled ebook. We'll get it delivered to you within 7 days. This will basically help you see for yourself how engaging it can be as a reader to consume your own content, because this gives you a good perspective of how or what kind of changes you need to make. To sign up, you just have to scan this QR code, just fill in a form, and someone from our team will reach out to you within the next 24 hours to set things up for you. So go for it. Just sign up on this QR code. And with that, I'll open up the session for a Q&A round, right? We already have a few questions coming in, and I'll read them out for you. So I have one question, and it's a very good question. What's your framework for choosing between native EPUB formats versus web-based EPUB delivery in terms of user experience? Tushar, do you want to answer that?
I think this is a technical question. They are asking about native or EPUB,
Correct.
right?
So the
Yes.
native EPUBs work very well when it comes to any type of readers. But if you're making interactive EPUBs especially, then the native EPUBs are the best to go with. So Kitabu uses the native EPUB formats, and then you can add layers on top of it, which add the interactivity to the books.
Awesome. I have another questions. Are quizzes graded automatically when submitted? Sujata?
Yeah. So In Kitabu, we have different types of quizzes. Okay. First of all, there is objective quizzes and subjective type questions. The objective type questions, you can grade them automatically if that's how you set them up. And subjective questions can be manually graded, right? In the future, we may even have AI-based, rubric-based grading. But I want to talk about very briefly about the kind of customizations that we have done where whether it is subjective or objective, we have delivered to customers end-to-end workflows where the system is pre-fed with some rubrics to determine whether an answer is right or wrong. It gives a preliminary score, and then it goes to the teacher, and the teacher looks at it and says, maybe I'll give a few more points because the student is kind of in the right direction, right? Even if the system didn't give the marks, the teacher can override, including in objective and subjective. And then it goes back and then gets submitted to the gradebook using LTI and things like that. So we can work out the entire workflow with automatic grading, with teacher overridden grading, with AI-based, rubric-based grading, all of it. I hope that answers the question.
Awesome. That was an amazing question. There's one question. What's your approach to mapping cognitive load thresholds in ebook UX when you're dealing with dense B2B material? Do you use eye tracking plus EEG or just heuristics?
Yeah, so I'll take that one also. We don't do eye tracking, okay? Neither do we use just plain heuristics. What we do is there are a bunch of UX metrics when it comes to book engagement. And there are two types of books. There is business books or just reading books, and there is pedagogically inclined books, like, books with worksheets and things like that. The metrics that we use are slightly different. First of all, you can tell cognitive load when users drop off from a page. The amount of time a page is read is a very important metric, right? And when you look at an average, let's say there's a class of students. Now, when the entire class of students is struggling, or only a small percentage of students are able to stay on a page, we go back and look at what's wrong with that page. It's simple things like that that actually give it away. You don't need very fancy eye tracking. I'm doing my PhD in that, and I know that there are metrics that you can just measure in terms of screen time, in terms of the number of questions attempted, in terms of how many times they revisited that page, how many times they clicked on the glossary. Lots of little things like this actually tell us a lot of substantial information when you correlate them. And no individual statistic will tell you anything substantial. It's when they all come together that it builds up a full picture. And that's where the strength of our analytics lies. I hope that helps. JC, do you want to add something here?
No, I think you covered it very well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. There are so many questions coming in. I'll take this one. Through K.ai, does it extract questions from an open source or from within the platform itself? JC, you want to answer that?
I think within the platform, we can extract the question.
It is absolutely from within the platform. It's not going to look at outside data to give any other additional content. So we are not going to manipulate your content. We are not going to add anything to your content. Your content remains sacrosanct. It is IP, your IP, and we are not going to tamper with that.
Yeah. In fact, I just want to add to that. It's not even within the platform. It is from that book
content
on on that particular piece of content. Or if you so want, a bunch of books of your choosing, right? That is your IP. That is what JC is talking about. We never mix up customer information. We do not leak one customer's IP to another. We just don't do things like that. And certainly not open source. No.
That's very important. There's one question. I think it's very straightforward. Do we have options to convert or upload ebooks in bulk? Yes, you do. And JC will give you a better
answer. An answer for that in the QA box. But yes, you do have an option to upload ebooks in bulk. You can do it through the UI, or you also have APIs if it is really large amount of data. So answer is yes.
Awesome. I have one controversial question. How do you justify UX investment for ebooks to leadership who only looks at download numbers and not engagement metrics. So that's an interesting one. Sujata, you want to take that up?
JC, you go first. I'll add on. I do have a point of view. But you go first.
I think the download follows the engagement and interactions. The more you see people interacting with the content, you will start seeing that there is more and more usage and there's more and more downloads. So that data itself will justify that kind of investment.
Yeah, and I will add on to JC. I would put all my efforts, if I were in your shoes, to get them to see that downloads do not tell the full story. Because what's the point if a person has downloaded 20 books and has read 2 pages in each, if even that? And keep in mind, devices have only so much capacity. You can have a 2 GB book to download. That's about it, right? What about the bigger ones? So I would spend my time and energies explaining all the wonderful metrics you can have beyond download and have them see the point of view. JC, would you agree with me?
Absolutely. And it's very simple in this platform to create an interactive ebook. I know there are services available which charges you thousands of dollars to create an ebook like this, but you can use the platform and create it yourself. You can start small and see the returns and then expand on it.
Yeah, and also one other thing, if you've integrated with, say, an interoperability system like LTI, etc., you can't even download. That doesn't even work. So when you have a well-integrated, smoothly integrated system, the metric, if you're using downloads, would be the wrong metric to look at. Yeah. So
Awesome.
I think we're running out of time, and Liz is giving us little indicators.
I love that everyone is rating us good numbers, so I'm really happy. There are many questions, and I'll just take one more because it's very relevant to us. How do you test the experience of a user? Also, how do you ensure the testers represent enough of the target audience? That's
you want to take this first?
Good questions.
Sorry, what was the question?
So how do you test
the
the experience of user? Yeah.
No, I think Sujata.
Yeah. So basically what we do is we do persona mapping. I told you, remember, when we have an older audience, we test it with them. When we have little kids, we actually test it out in real classrooms. At the end of the day, the testing has to represent the population, right? And we do sampling and standard statistical methods.
We do A/B testing, individual first.
Yeah, A/B testing also, yes, absolutely. So that at the end of the day, if it is a higher ed or a K-12, we have to get it into the classroom and test that it actually works in the classroom. And we have other things like journals and trade publishing, where it is a little bit different. And then we work with the associations to help us test and give us feedback.
Awesome.
There's some other great questions, but we will try to take those questions and answer them separately outside of webinar.
Yes, offline.
Will we have access to these questions later, Liz?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we will have access to the questions. With that, if you have any more questions, you can always just scan this QR code, fill in the form. Anyway, someone is going to reach out to you, so you can get those questions answered. And with that, I'll say my thank you to everyone who has been part of this webinar, this amazing webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much.
You've been a great audience, and thank you so much for all the love and the attention and for staying with us this whole time. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for your patience. Bye-bye.